Committing to one gaming monitor is kind of a difficult task, so today we're going to take a look at one that won't break the bank, but still, you know, makes you feel good about your life. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Joe's Tech. As you can see behind me, I have the ASUS MG279Q. This is a 27-inch 2560 by 1440p IPS panel with 144 Hz refresh rate. This monitor obviously is primarily aimed towards the gamer, but there's many functions for it, I would say. And before we kind of get into that, why don't we go ahead and unbox it and see what comes included. As you guys can imagine, assembly of the monitor is pretty straightforward. Out of the box, it comes with the arm attached, and of course the base plate slips over the arm and screws down with the attached thumb screw. When you're shopping for a monitor like this, I think there's two things aside from functionality itself that are really important, and that's going to be quality and adjustability. You don't want to spend this much money on a monitor just to find that it kind of has a static adjustability side to side or up and down. This monitor definitely delivers when it comes to those two things, and for starters, you can see that the height adjustability is great. At the bottom of the monitor, you can go all the way down to 2 inches, or you can go up to almost 8 inches. It can be seen in landscape or in portrait mode, which is great, and the quality of the stand itself is actually really nice. You can easily move it up and down without having to, use two hands. It's very smooth. The other thing that I think is really nice is if you do have a VESA mount, or if you plan to mount this on the wall, there's a small switch on the back of the case, and that allows you to remove the display off of the stand. As far as connections for this monitor, on the back you're going to find a 3.5mm input, a mini DisplayPort connector, a full-size DisplayPort, 2 HDMIs, 2 USB 3.0s, and of course your power and USB 3.0 output, which is going to go back to your PC to feed those two ports. Also on the back, you'll find the 5 function keys included, as well as a 5-way adjustable joystick for navigating the menu. Typically on a monitor like this, well, at least any typical monitor I've used, it's always kind of a pain to adjust settings on the back of the monitor, but that's not really the case with this. ASUS did a good job at laying things out and kind of making things easy to change, so that was a win there, I thought. So now we're at the most exciting part of the video. I'm going to kind of tell you guys how the last few days have gone. Obviously, I've been testing this out with everything from just browsing the web to using the Creative Suite, and then, beyond that. But, as far as browsing the web goes, it's the internet. It's not going to be too exciting, right? Now, as far as the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite goes, I use a little bit of Photoshop, Illustrator, of course, Premiere to make the videos, and a little bit of After Effects. Nothing crazy there, but, in those applications, this monitor is great. And, this is coming from someone who uses a 1080 display, well, dual 1080 displays. And just using this one monitor, you get so much more real estate because of that higher resolution, and everything looks really great. It kind of allows you to kind of increase productivity, I would say, because of the fact that you're able to spread things out and see things a little bit more clearly. Obviously, this monitor's primary function was not intended to be browsing the web or using the Adobe Creative Cloud applications. It was intended for playing some games, right? And so that is exactly what I did over the last few days. I played a lot of games, I did a lot of testing, but I wanted to throw out a quick disclaimer before we continue. Obviously, if you haven't noticed already, I am not a huge YouTube channel. I don't get a ton of free stuff in the mail. In fact, at this point, I don't get any free stuff in the mail, so my point here is that I don't have 10 of these monitors laying around to test against, right? This is strictly going to be my opinion and my experience. I guess you could call it like an average Joe experience, right? So that being said, I had a great experience with the monitor. My first hurdle to overcome was the fact that I'm using a GTX 1070 superclocked. I'm not using like dual 1080s or anything like that. So I wasn't getting like a really crazy high refresh rate. So adjusting my settings initially to get a higher frame rate was kind of a challenge. But you know, once I got over that, I was able to get like 110, 115 frames a second. And the difference between playing in 1440 with that frame rate over playing 1080, or even playing 1080 at that frame rate, really, because I tested that as well, between that and 60 hertz is like crazy. It's so crazy how much more engaged you can get in the game. It's so much more fluid. It's just all around, it's just a better experience. In fact, I would say, looking back, playing in 1080 with a high refresh rate is definitely going to be a better experience than playing like 1440 at 60 hertz. So, as far as VSync goes with this monitor, when you turn it on, it does turn the monitor's max frequency down to 90 hertz. So I did not see a huge difference between the 110 frames per second versus the high 80s, 90 frame per second range that you get when you turn VSync on. So honestly, I didn't see a huge difference. For me, I didn't see a huge difference. Now, that might be different in other people's reviews of this monitor, but that's just what I saw. After testing this monitor for the last few days, would I recommend it to somebody else? Absolutely. I think, if I haven't mentioned it already, this monitor is a great buy, especially if you could find it like I did for under $500. It's going to be tough to kind of beat 144 hertz refresh, 1440p with FreeSync for under $500, and you know, in a quality brand like ASUS. I wanted to take a quick second to say thanks to my good buddy Danny for lending me the monitor to review for you guys. If you guys are interested in photography or cars or Mustangs in general, he's got a pretty cool Instagram page, which I'll link up in the description below. But hopefully this video was helpful to somebody out there. If you guys do have any questions, feedback, concerns, obviously this is my first monitor review. Please feel free to leave that kind of stuff in the comments section below. Of course, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up on the way out. And of course, if you haven't subscribed and you want to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.